Nuclear talks. A huge commotion for what? On April 27, the Los Angeles Times, quoting an unidentified American official, reported that the US is ready for a deal with Iran to enrich uranium up to 5%, quote, if its government agrees to the unrestricted inspections, strict oversight, and numerous safeguards that the United Nations has long demanded, end of quote. According to the official, the administration believes that Iran is unlikely to agree to a complete halt in enrichment, and therefore, quote, an unconditional demand that it do so could make it impossible to reach a negotiated deal to stop the country's nuclear program, thereby avoiding a military attack, end of quote. The report later questioned for its accuracy by the State Department spokesperson, Victoria Noland, has been widely misread in the US. Specifically, even if we were to assume that the quotes reflected Obama administration's true position, they do not suggest that the US has accepted to allow Iran indefinite uranium enrichment at any percentage on its soil. Rather, the quotes indicate that the US now hopes to stop Iran's nuclear program not by pressure only, but through negotiations as well. That is, the change in US's policy is not strategic, but tactical. Tehran's reading of the US true intention is particularly problematic. Its interpretation that the US will accept uranium enrichment to 5% on the Iranian soil indefinitely is inaccurate. Tehran is also mistaken about its expectation that the US will lift many of the crippling sanctions. The US, we must add, is also misreading Iran's readiness to accept key past US demands, including unrestricted access to military sites and scientists. This misreading can make the negotiations in Baghdad on May 23rd go bust. It is possible that both sides are intentionally misleading each other. Iran wants to avert war and relieve itself of some crippling sanctions by making certain compromises. It also needs time to reassess the end game for its nuclear program that has seriously harmed the economy and isolated Iran in the West. There is a serious dispute going on within the ruling factions as to the extent of compromises they should make and whether the US can be trusted on its recent softer talks. Obama administration has also reasons to reduce tension with Iran in the immediate future. Sanctions would still need more time to further harm the Iranian economy, and the flaring up of the dispute could potentially hurt President Obama's re-election campaign, given the concern with the US economy and energy prices. In that case, which could follow a failure of the upcoming negotiations in Iraq, tougher measures against Iran are expected, and the warmongers will have a louder voice than ever before now that in Israel there is a right-wing coalition government in the formation. Whatever its strategic plan, the US seems inclined toward an incremental approach that will make Iran halt its enrichment program, not immediately, but at a near future point. In the interim, it will impose, it is expected, acceptable conditions on Iran, such as to halt enrichment beyond 5%, freeze the spinning centrifuges to the present numbers, deactivate Fordo plant, remove from Iran of all enriched uranium beyond 5%, accept intrusive and unexpected inspections, and settle transparency dispute with IAEA. In return, the US is expected to offer Iran limited incentives, such as providing fuel for the reactor in Tehran University and halting further sanctions, including the planned EU sanctions on Iranian oil. President Obama may also use its executive power to relieve Iran's central bank from sanctions. And the EU may persuade SWIFT to reinstate Iran. While Iran is expecting a bigger deal, even this much may not be offered, given the overconfidence of Iran's nemesis that their sanctions are working. Aside from domestic disputes and intentions, several deal breakers may make the Baghdad negotiations fail. First is a possible call on Iran to give IAEA inspectors free access to its secret military production sites and to make its nuclear scientists available for interview by the IAEA. Iran has in the past insisted that IAEA inspectors include Western spies, and it strongly believes that its scientists were murdered because those spies revealed their identities to the assassins' governments. A second deal breaker is a mismatch between Tehran's raised expectation for relief from sanctions and what it may actually be offered. Saeed Jalili, Iran's chief nuclear negotiator, who is for the first time also directly representing the supreme leader, reportedly asked Catherine Ashton, quote, 100 times that Iran expected major sanctions lifted, including oil. Given the factional dispute, the Iranian negotiators can only deliver the compromise expected by the US if they were to return home with real gains. Finally, President Obama will also face powerful domestic and external obstacles to reach an agreement with Tehran. The list includes Israel and its powerful lobby, Saudi Arabia, Republicans led by Mitt Romney, and the US Congress. They will object to a deal with Iran that leaves it with any enrichment. And they will most likely use the campaign environment to portray Obama as weak and or appeasing to the mullahs in Tehran, particularly now that a right-wing coalition government is being formed in Israel. Thank you for watching this video, and please share it with friends.